Once upon a time in the vast expanse of the South Pole, there lived a colony of penguins. They were an emperor penguin colony, to be exact, and among them was a young penguin named Pip. Pip was a curious fellow, always eager to explore beyond the familiar sights of his colony mates. One fateful day, while the penguin colony was fast asleep, mind you, Pip couldn't resist the urge to wander. He slipped away unnoticed and waddled towards the shimmering icebergs that glittered in the distance. The other penguins were too preoccupied with their slumber to notice his absence. As Pip approached the icebergs, he found himself mesmerized by their beauty. The sun glistened off their icy surfaces, creating a spectacle that made him forget all about returning home. Lost in admiration, Pip inadvertently ventured too close to the edge of an iceberg. The ice beneath him cracked, and before he knew it, he was sliding down into the freezing cold water. When Pip finally surfaced, he found himself surrounded by a group of curious sea seals. Now, you might be wondering, what exactly are sea seals? Well, they're these adorable yet mischievous creatures that live in the ocean. Just imagine a mix between a playful puppy and a curious cat, and you've got yourself a sea seal. The sea seals, being the curious creatures they are, quickly surrounded Pip. They had never seen a penguin up close before, and they couldn't resist the temptation to get a closer look. Meanwhile, poor Pip was terrified. Not only was he far from his cozy penguin colony, but he was now trapped in the middle of a group of strange, furry creatures with big, curious eyes. Among the seals, there was one who stood out from the rest. His name was Sammy, a wise and benevolent seal who had seen his fair share of penguins in his lifetime. Unlike his more mischievous peers, Sammy wasn't interested in causing trouble for Pip. Instead, he wanted to help the scared little penguin. Well, what do we have here? Sammy asked in a friendly voice, trying to put Pip at ease. A lost penguin, if I'm not mistaken. Pip, still trembling from his ordeal, could only manage a weak squeak in response. He was too afraid to speak, unsure of whether these furry creatures were friendly or foe. Sammy, sensing Pip's fear, decided to take action. He knew that the other seals were getting impatient and might resort to roughhousing if he didn't do something. All right, you little guy, it's time for me to introduce you to your new home, Sammy said, gently nudging Pip towards the shore. As Pip waddled along the beach, he couldn't help but feel a sense of unease. He was surrounded by unfamiliar sights and sounds, and the thought of spending his days with these unpredictable seals was daunting. Sammy, noticing Pip's apprehension, decided to break the ice. Listen, Pip, Sammy began, I know this might come as a shock, but you won't be staying with us permanently. We just need to keep you safe until we can figure out what to do with you. Reassured by Sammy's words, Pip felt a wave of gratitude wash over him. He understood that these seals, despite their somewhat intimidating appearance, genuinely wanted to help him. The days that followed were filled with new experiences for Pip. Sammy and his seal friends took turns looking after him, making sure he was fed and, most importantly, keeping him out of trouble. As the days turned into weeks, Pip began to feel a sense of belonging among the seals. He learned to play their games, which often involved chasing each other around the icebergs and herding unsuspecting penguins towards the water for a good laugh. Yes, you heard that right. The seals would sneak up on unsuspecting penguins, then surprise them with a playful shove into the water. It was their idea of a good time, you know, just like how we humans enjoy a good prank. Despite the fun, Pip never forgot his penguin roots. He missed his family and longed for the familiar sights and sounds of his colony. However, he couldn't help but grow fond of his seal companions. They had welcomed him into their group without hesitation and had shown him kindness and care throughout his stay. Meanwhile, news of Pip's disappearance had reached the elder penguins. They were worried sick and had organized a search party party to look for their missing friend. The search party consisted of the bravest and most experienced penguins in the colony. They were determined to bring Pip back home safely. One day, while Pip was playing a game of tag with the seals, a familiar call echoed across the ice. "Pip, Pip, where are you?" It was his colony mates searching for him. Overjoyed to hear their voices, Pip immediately rushed towards the sound, his heart pounding with excitement. When his colony mates finally spotted him, there were joyous cheers and congratulations all around. They were so happy to have found Pip and bring him back to the colony. Sammy and the other seals watched from a distance, feeling a mixture of happiness for Pip and sadness at his departure. However, Sammy had a plan to make sure that Pip never forgot his time with the seals. Before saying goodbye, Sammy and his friends gathered around Pip, each presenting him with a small token of their friendship. Sammy gifted Pip a shiny seashell that he had found on one of his underwater adventures. "Here you go, Pip," Sammy said with a smile. "A little something to remember us by." The other seals chimed in, each sharing a story about their adventures with Pip and expressing their joy at having him as a friend. Overwhelmed with emotion, Pip couldn't help but feel a sense of gratitude towards his seal friends. He had been lost and alone, and they had welcomed him into their group without hesitation. They had shown him kindness, care, and most importantly, friendship during his time with the seals. Pip had learned valuable lessons about friendship, courage, and resilience. He realized that true friends were those who stood by you through thick and thin, no matter how different they were from one another. He also discovered a newfound respect for the natural world and the creatures that inhabited it. As Pip rejoined his penguin colony, he couldn't help but look back at the seals waving goodbye from afar. He knew that although their paths had diverged, the memories they had shared would last a lifetime. From that day forward, Pip became known as the penguin who lived with the seals. He regaled his fellow penguins with tales of his adventures, emphasizing the importance of friendship and acceptance. The story of Pip and his seal friends became a legend in the penguin colony, reminding every penguin to embrace the unexpected and cherish the bonds they formed with others. And let's not forget Sammy and his seal clan. They continued their playful antics along the icy shores, always remembering the penguin who had once been part of their group. The vast expanse of the South Pole, with its glistening icebergs and playful creatures, became a testament to the enduring power of friendship and the magic of embracing the unknown. Now, whenever a young penguin would express a desire to explore beyond the safety of their colony, the elder penguins would share the tale of Pip and his seal friends as a reminder of both the wonders and the challenges that awaited them in the great beyond. The story served as a beacon of courage, urging the younger generation to be bold in their exploration while also honoring the importance of their roots and the bonds that connected them to their community. And that, dear viewers, is the tale of Pip, the adventurous penguin who found friendship in the most unexpected place. We hope you enjoyed joining Pip on his journey of self-discovery and the valuable lessons he learned along the way. Remember, true friendship knows no bounds, and even the smallest act of kindness can leave a lasting impact. But our adventure doesn't end here. In the next episode, we'll be diving into a brand new story featuring a different penguin with a unique challenge to overcome. So stay tuned, because who knows what exciting escapade awaits us next. Until then, keep being kind, keep being curious, and most importantly, keep believing in the power of friendship.